welcome back to my channel. My name is Annelies and today I will be reviewing the 4 new rose fragrances by Zara. This new rose fragrance collection has 4 fragrances. They are called Mystic Rose, C'est la Rose, Rose Temeraire and Rose Sincère. Let me quickly already tell you that I actually had already recorded this video, but I don't know what I did, but the day after, so today is when I was going to edit it so I could post it. And as it turns out, there was no audio. So somehow I had turned off my microphone, I'm guessing is what happened. I don't even know how to turn off the microphone on this camera, but I think somehow I did, maybe by touching the touch screen or something. So yeah, that is why I'm starting again, but I'm telling you this because I don't have the bottles anymore. So I cannot show you the bottles physically. But yeah, that's the reason. So it's a little frustrating to be doing it all over again, but you know what, doesn't matter. I love talking about perfume, so it doesn't really matter. So let's just get started with the review. And the first fragrance I will be talking about is called C'est la Rose. This fragrance has notes of rose, gaiac wood, and pink pepper. And when I first sprayed it, so I tested every fragrance on my wrist. This was the first one that I tried. So I sprayed it and gave it a sniff. And honestly, it sort of immediately underwhelmed me a little bit just because it's a very familiar type of scent. This is actually the scent that you get, or the fragrance that a lot of companies put into their skincare products. It sort of reminded me of a rose scented toner for the skin, or even a moisturizer. And then specifically, I kind of thought about, I don't know if you know this brand or this specific product, but I used to have an Oil of Ola's beauty fluid. I think this brand is called Olay in the States and other countries, or maybe it's just changed its name to Olay, whatever. But that brand has beauty fluid and I used to own it. My sister had it as well. My great grandmother actually had that specific moisturizer by Olay. And I thought that this scent, the C'est la Rose fragrance, smelled like that moisturizer. So it has like a sort of typical dry, simple rose scent. The pink pepper, I guess it's there. It is a little bit spicy, but it is not strong by any means. It's really just a subtle rose fragrance. The woodiness in the background is what you get the most in the final dry down. But even though I'm pretty sensitive to rose wood fragrances, and this one, I mean, I thought it would be sort of a heavy fragrance, but it is not. It's super subtle, it's super simple, it's very recognizable. And so yeah, honestly, it's not bad by any means, but that's pretty much all I can say about it. Just a dry, simple skincare type of rose scent. If I had to compare it to another fragrance, besides the Olay moisturizer, maybe it's somewhere along the lines of, is that how you say it? Along the lines or among the lines? It's sort of like, but don't take this too literally, okay? But it's sort of like Cafe Rose by Tom Ford. The new, well, not the old one, I never tried that one, but the newer one. Doesn't smell the same, don't get me wrong, but I had that same sort of dry, simple skincare type of rose experience with that one. So that is the only fragrance that I know that I can somewhat compare it to, but again, it is not a dupe for that. This doesn't have any coffee or anything, but yeah. If I had to rate this fragrance, I would probably give it a 6 out of 10, just because it's nice, it's not unpleasant, but it's also pretty underwhelming. It's super simple. I don't even know, I mean, I wouldn't I wouldn't really classify this scent as a perfume, if you know what I mean. Maybe it's ideal for layering. If you have some woody rose fragrances and you want to amp up that rose, you could use this one to layer some extra rose on top of your fragrance. But other than that, it's pretty simple. The longevity was not too great. It wasn't the worst I've ever experienced. I've had shorter living fragrances than this one, but it is definitely not great, and the projection pretty much the same. It is very soft, maybe moderate projecting, but like don't expect too much of the performance. Then the next fragrance I tried was Rose Sincère, and this one has notes of rose, lychee and praline. By the way, I keep saying lychee, but is it lychee or lychee? Somebody really has to tell me this for once and for all, because I don't know how to pronounce it. But for now, I'm gonna go with lychee. So I gave this one a spray, and my first reaction was, okay, I'm liking this one better than the previous one. This one is fruitier, it has a little bit of sweetness, it has freshness. So to put it in a few simple words, I would just describe this one as a fruity, fresh, floral fragrance. And I'm saying floral and not necessarily rose, as there's rose in here, but also it sort of smells like it has more floral notes than just the rose. So it's not a strong rose fragrance. It's really just a very, honestly, it's a very generic type of fruity, fresh floral. And I just had to think of those sort of simple fragrances. I'm thinking fragrances like some Coach fragrances, Kate Spade, DKNY, Nina Ricci. I mean, you know, it's sort of those types of brands, sort of those pink bottles that usually have words like blush or blossom or something like that in it. It's really a fragrance like that. I hope you know what I mean, but it is nothing groundbreaking either. I do think it's pleasant, but it sort of smells like a young girl's beginner fragrance. Very inoffensive, very spring-like, so it's nice and fresh. I can't imagine anyone actually disliking this fragrance. It smells fine, but again, nothing groundbreaking, nothing you've never smelled before. So it's cute, yes, but I can't really rate this fragrance over a 6.5, as it's just a cute, nice, girly fragrance. Period. Now the performance of this one, I'm just gonna be honest, it is bad. So the projection in itself, if you overspray, you will probably have some projection, but it just doesn't last. That's the thing. I sprayed it on my wrist, and I think about 45 minutes afterwards, I could hardly smell it. And so I gave it a few more spritz. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna drowse my wrist so I can really smell it for a longer time. And it did create a stronger projection, but the longevity in itself was just really short. I mean, it was about an hour and the fragrance was gone. But other than that, just a very inoffensive, fresh, floral, simple, girly, fruity, fresh fragrance. Oh, and also, this supposedly has lychee and praline. Not getting that. I mean, I smell fruitiness, that's for sure, but I don't really think this smells like lychee at all. I think this smells like more of a simple fruit, like something like pear. If the notes listed pear, I would totally believe it, because it does have a bit of a pear-like fruitiness. I'm not great at recognizing what fruit I'm smelling in fruity fragrances, so, you know. But if I had to guess without knowing the notes, I would have said this is like a pear floral fragrance and not at all a lychee fragrance. Also, praline, like where? I'm not getting any praline. So just a simple, inoffensive, fruity, fresh floral fragrance, very girly, but with a bad projection and longevity. And that was Rose Sincère. The next one I tried is called Mystic Rose, and this has notes of blueberry, rose, and amberwood. Now the Zara packaging says blueberry, but on Fragrantica it says cranberry. Well, when I sprayed this one, I'm just gonna tell you already, I don't smell any blueberry whatsoever. I don't know where they're getting it from. Could just be me. I don't really know that many blueberry fragrances, but in this one, no blueberry to be found. So yeah, I gave this one a spray and a sniff and I was instantly put off. This fragrance is not my thing at all. I strongly dislike it. I'm just gonna be real. This smells like an older woman living in the 80s, wearing a big fur coat and a hat and way too much eyeshadow, maybe has a doggy, and she lives in this house like that is too big for her. And after several years, maybe she moves or she goes to I don't know, she doesn't live there anymore, and you are cleaning up the house and you're opening up the closet where she keeps her coats, and you're just like that scent. Can you imagine what I'm trying to say? Like an old closet with old coats of a lady who loved to drowse herself in strong rose perfumes. That is what I'm getting. I know that's a very weird description, but that was just the image that popped into my head. Way too strong for me, way too bold. It's the opposite of an inoffensive fragrance. So it could definitely be offensive. I mean, if I were sitting on a plane or a bus or just like, I don't know, City Hall or whatever, and I smelled this fragrance on someone, it would bother me. So it's definitely not a safe blind buy. It's sort of unisex. I still think of a woman when I smell this, but I do think this is the most unisex fragrance of all four. And on a positive note, because, you know, this is just my experience, I don't like this fragrance at all. I think that's pretty clear, but maybe you like strong, bold amberwood rose type of fragrances, then I do have some good news, because the performance on this one is actually good. This one projects and this one lasts. So there's that. And also, I have to be honest, I wore this on my wrist and the final dry down was actually tolerable. But that is the most positive I can be about this fragrance. The opening was just terrible. It was a 1 out of 10 at most for me. The dry down is still not my thing, but I could handle it a little bit more than that opening. So if I had to rate this fragrance, it's a 2 out of 10, honestly. I'm just being honest, but yeah. Let me know in the comments if you like this fragrance, because I do want to know maybe what you're picking up in this fragrance. And also, are you getting the blueberry or the cranberry? Because I'm not. But yeah, that was Mystic Rose. And then the final fragrance is called Rose Temeraire. I don't even know what Temeraire means. I think it's a specific type of rose. But this one has notes of plum, cherry, some floral notes besides the rose, and in the base, some woody notes. I gave this a spray and I immediately recognized this DNA. This is not the first time Zara has made this fragrance. They may have tweaked it a little, but it reminded me of 2 previous fragrances. So the first one this reminded me of was from the Weekly Mood collection. That one came last year, didn't last very long. They discontinued it pretty quickly. It reminds me of the Monday one, Monday No Drama Allowed. And it also reminds me of the Thursday one, which was Thursday something flowers and Valentine. I don't remember the name exactly, but I will put it up on the screen. So I think it reminds me most of the Thursday one. That one I remember being very sweet and fruity. And then in the base, there was a very nice praline. Rose Temeraire does not really have that praline, but something about it is very recognizable and is definitely similar to Thursday. Then you have the Monday one, Monday No Drama Allowed, which was a musky rose type of fragrance. Rose Temeraire is a lot fruitier and sweeter than that one, but still, I mean, it's like they took some aspects from that one and then also from the Thursday one, and they just sort of made a new combination. It is definitely reminiscent of Delina. Honestly, this has cherry and plum. I'm getting lychee. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm definitely not the best, well, not by far actually, the best note recognizer in fragrances. I think it's so hard to recognize notes. It takes such a long time before you can even pinpoint what it is that you're smelling. But anyway, I'm not really getting plum and cherry. I'm getting lychee and maybe raspberry. I'm getting rose, lychee, raspberry, and that's about it. I think that is mostly what I'm getting. So it does have that typical Delina-like DNA. I don't think this is really a dupe for Delina, so don't take that too literally. Man, literally, it's not a dupe for Delina, but it's definitely inspired by, or, you know, they've taken some aspects from Delina and put it in this fragrance. So to sum up, this sort of smells like Zara Thursday, Zara Monday. It actually also smells like Zara's Red Temptation Summer. It smells like Delina. I think it smells like Angel Nova. It also smells like Very Good Girl or Very Good Girl Glam. I actually always mix those two up, so I'm not sure which one that I'm recognizing in this one, but if you like those types of fragrances, I think you're gonna love this one. Personally, for me, Rose Temeraire is the best one from this collection. It's also pretty strong, so I do think it has decent performance and longevity. Definitely moderate or even going to the stronger side. So no complaints there, and the scent in itself is really nice. It's pretty sweet. I do think after a while, because I wore it and I really liked it, but after a while I got a little sick of the sweetness, but that's just me. But I do think this one, if I had to recommend one to give a sniff, I do think this is the most interesting one out of the four. So to sum up, C'est la Vie and Rose Sincère are both very soft, inoffensive, light fragrances. C'est la Vie is a bit drier and a little bit soft, woodier. Rose Sincère is fruity, floral, fresh. Then we have Mystic Rose, which is a bold, amber, dark type of strong rose. Not my thing, but it does project and it does last. And then we have Rose Temeraire, which is like Delina, Angel Nova, Very Good Girl Glam, Red Temptation Summer. So that type of fragrance, that is Rose Temeraire. So that should give you a little bit of an idea of which fragrance might be right for you. Let me know in the comments what you think of this collection. I'm sorry again that I don't have the bottles anymore. I was so bummed to discover that my video had no sound. I was just so frustrated, and actually I was doubting if I should reshoot or not, but yeah, I wanted to do the video anyway, so that is why this video has no physical bottles. But anyway, let me know what you think of this collection. I would love to hear. Do you agree with the things that I said? Are you actually picking up on the cherry in Rose Temeraire or not? Like I said, I'm just getting lychee. I would love to hear all your thoughts. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more Zara fragrance review videos. And if you found the video somewhat helpful, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. But that's it for today. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you for the next one. Bye!